The one with all the Thanksgivings is the 8th episode of the 5th season of Friends. This is directed by Kevin Bright, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I talk about the episode. And with this one, I'm going to go through things chronologically, but I will say I don't particularly like this episode. It's not a bad episode, it's absolutely not that at all. I think it's just that a lot of people rate this so highly, and I think it's pretty average, but I also am in general not a fan of flashback episodes of any TV show. So while I can definitely see why it's popular, it's definitely not a personal favourite. It starts off with everybody groaning from Thanksgiving dinner, and they say what they're thankful for. Well, Joey does. And then Ross says he doesn't know what he's thankful for because of all of the awful things that have happened to him, and he says that this is the worst Thanksgiving ever. And this launches us into the main narrative where everybody recounts their worst Thanksgivings. And we have a brief flashback from Chandler, which actually I thought was quite nice. I do like this flashback because we get to see Chandler as a child, and it's the Thanksgiving when he found out that his parents were getting a divorce. We then have a flashback from Phoebe, but her flashback is to a past life. Definitely very creative with these. We have a flashback to the time Joey got a turkey stuck on his head. And the bit where he says, "It's Joey," is absolutely adorable. So actually those parts I don't mind, but they are very brief. The main Thanksgiving flashbacks take place at Monica and Ross's house, their parents' house. And initially we have the story with Monica and Rachel, Ross and Chandler, and we hear Chandler saying to Ross, "I just don't want to be stuck here all night with your fat sister." Of course, we have Monica, Courteney Cox in the fat suit. Rachel has a different nose. Chandler's hair in particular is pretty awesome. So there are some good things about this, and it's definitely very iconic. But for me, it's not an episode I can watch again and again, whereas in general it does seem to be one of the most popular. And that turns out is not the Thanksgiving that is Monica's worst. We then cut to the next Thanksgiving, and Monica has lost a lot of weight, and she decides to try and act seductive around Chandler with some suggestions from Rachel. Rachel has had her nose job by this point, and she starts to rub things on her body. And I will admit, the moment where she's rubbing the macaroni cheese box on her face, I thought was pretty entertaining. I do enjoy that. And then she does it with a knife, and then the knife flies through the air in a very dramatic moment, and it goes straight into Chandler's shoe. They rush him to the hospital, but unfortunately it's too late because instead of the bit of the toe, they accidentally packed a cold bit of carrot. So Chandler doesn't have the tip of his toe, which is pretty awkward. And then we get a fantastic moment at the end, and this bit I do like. I do love this bit, and it is an incredibly iconic moment. Courteney Cox actually recreated it, I think a couple of years ago on Instagram. I can't remember exactly, but it was a little while ago. It is, of course, the scene where Monica tries to make amends for chopping off Chandler's toe by putting the turkey on her head and doing a dance, and this is where Chandler says, "I love you." And while I'm sure Monica would have rather have not had a turkey on her head during that moment, it's definitely pretty entertaining. So I don't love watching the episode, but at the same time I can absolutely understand why it's so iconic, why a lot of people love it. I definitely get the appeal. I think maybe I've just seen it one too many times. It's definitely an episode that comes up a lot in compilations and in whenever people have compiled clips of the best moments and things. This definitely comes up a lot. So I think for me, watching it too many times has maybe worn it a bit thin, and I don't like flashbacks in general. But nevertheless, I can understand why it's an iconic episode. It's a good idea. Clearly a lot of people love it. It may not be an episode that I would ever choose to watch. If I'm sitting down picking a random episode of Friends, it wouldn't be this one. However, the turkey on the head, maybe I'd pick that moment. I do like it. The one with all the Thanksgivings is definitely a very popular episode. It's not a personal favourite, but I can understand why a lot of people love it.